it's like he was saying, you have to learn the flashing techniques because they're effective. Someone who has a really good berimbolo, he may not know how to pass anyone's guard, he may not know how to submit anyone, but he can berimbolo you. And he can berimbolo you, and he can berimbolo the black belt guy, and he can berimbolo everyone, unless you know how to defend it. So it's important to learn the moves, and you have to be proficient in them yourself too, so you can defend them, because that's what Jiu-Jitsu is about too. It's about defense. And if you don't know how to defend something, then what good is your Jiu-Jitsu? So yes, it is important to focus on fundamentals. But the thing about fundamentals is, it's something that comes. Fundamentals are weird because it's hard to actually teach them. Because teaching them, it takes years and years and years to learn the fundamentals. Because I can show you the fundamentals. I can say, okay, play guard like this, do this. But I'm not going to be able to teach you how to use your body properly, because your body has a different weight, different length, different proportions. And really, when it comes down to it, Jiu-Jitsu is about how you use your weight, how you use your length, your body proportions to control that guy. And everyone's different. And that's why it takes years and years and years and years and years to get good at Jiu-Jitsu and become high level. And the high level isn't necessarily the techniques that the guy knows, it's how well he knows his own body. And when you know your own body, you know what you're capable of, you know how your body interacts with other people's bodies, like a bigger guy, a smaller guy, you know what you can do against different people. And when it really gets down to it, that's millions of techniques, little things, like how to adjust to defend against different things. It takes years and years and years for you to just absorb, and it becomes a subconscious thing. It's not necessarily a technique. So at lower belts, the best thing you can do isn't about a technique, it's just to roll and train and become comfortable with Jiu-Jitsu, become comfortable with yourself as you roll, how you're going to react to different things. It's about just the osmosis of learning through experience, That's what's weird about Jiu-Jitsu, is you can learn a lot of things, and that's very good. The knowledge is important, because knowledge is everything, really. But then there's a whole other side to it. I guess that's what Hickson calls invisible Jiu-Jitsu, That is the invisible Jiu-Jitsu, though. You can't teach it, yeah, they have their whole invisible Jiu-Jitsu thing, and that's great and stuff, but teaching that sort of underlying level of Jiu-Jitsu is pretty much impossible.
Can you shortcut that?
There is no shortcut. There's no shortcut for hard work, You just have to train a lot. I mean, every year, if you just train, you will get better over time. A guy who just rolls is going to progress almost at the same rate as a guy who just studies a lot. It's basically the same thing. It's hard to do both, but if you study a lot and roll a lot, you'll improve at a faster rate. That's probably the fastest way to do it. The fastest way to get good at Jiu-Jitsu is just to only do Jiu-Jitsu and not have a job. That's really the fastest way to do it. That's how I did it. I didn't have a job. I just trained full time, and not everyone has that opportunity. It's not that life doesn't allow for that. It's just people who are lucky enough to have the opportunities to train like that. So that may be hard to conceptualize for some people. It's what Jiu-Jitsu is, how to improve. What I said earlier about the different body positions and positioning and stuff. But in the last year, for me, I feel like I've learned a lot more important things about Jiu-Jitsu than I did in the previous 9 years I did. Because in the previous 9 years, I focused a lot on the technique. What is the right technique? What is this? But lately in the last year, it's hard. It's a pleasure for me to learn technique, but it's hard to find techniques that I haven't learned yet. Obviously there's a ton to learn, but it's hard to find those things sometimes. It's nice to travel because you told me you have a good Darce escape that you're going to show me. So that's great because I don't really know that many Darce escapes. So I have to go places to find new techniques. So for me, I focus on the little things in training. Okay, I'm rolling with a really good brown belt. Okay, I know he's really good from this position, so I'm going to go there. I'm going to be in his position. I'm going to see what I can figure out how to defend that position. What can I do personally, because I'm long, I'm lanky, I'm not as strong as a lot of guys. What can I figure out about myself to deal with that position, deal with his guard? So that's how you learn too. It's just being aware. Go ahead.
What's the balance you would say? Because remember we talked about flow rolling, because you can flow. Do you do flow rolling, or is it a lot of just hard rolling?
I mean, at a certain point, I can't roll with a blue belt and go hard rolling.
Right.
There's no point. It's a waste of both of our times. Because if I go 100%, I might just pass his guard really quickly, and then do I just try and submit over and over and over again? You can do that, but I'll probably get more out of it. He'll get more out of it. If we roll and I let him get to his strong positions, I let him play whatever guard he wants to play. I feel like if he's going to set up whatever he's going to set up, I try and defend it. So yeah, I think the flow rolling that's how it applies, kind of. It's not necessarily I don't think, honestly, flow rolling, as a lot of people see it, I think is stupid. This is oh, let's flow, not try. like, oh, I'm going to let you sweep me, and then you let me sweep you back. That doesn't really make sense because like it's just not realistic. Like you might as well just roll, unless you can't roll. Obviously, you're injured or something. But flow rolling for me is like, okay, I'm going to let you get to your position. I'm going to try and defend your position. We're still rolling hard, but it's like I'm letting you get to your position. I'm not going to just like go A game 100%, try and stop you from getting to your best spot. Because a hard roll for me, if I'm going to roll with like Dom, I know where he's really good from. And if I really want to try hard, I'm not going to let him get there. Like I'll make sure that I'm playing guard, or I'm going to like get to a position where he can't play his good stuff, and vice versa. But like a roll where we both improve is like if he puts me in his really good position, he wrecks me from there, as he does sometimes, and like I try and learn from that, and vice versa.
So you pick out guys in the gym, like this guy's got a good spider guard. I'm gonna play spider with him.
Yeah, that's how you have to improve as you get to a higher and higher level. There's less and less people who will be able to just destroy you. You're very fortunate when you're beginning jiu-jitsu because everyone can wreck you, so you're constantly learning. That's why jiu-jitsu is addictive for people, is because it's a constant learning process. Like just scientifically, humans are designed to enjoy learning, right? If you lose in something and you learn from it, you enjoy it. It's most of the time that's how it works. That's why I think certain things are fun to do. You learn from them. So in jiu-jitsu, that at first people get hooked on it. They get the bug of jiu-jitsu because they go in there and they just like, what the heck is this? Like, that guy did this to me. This like, it's just an overload of information, and that's cool for people. And so as you get higher and higher level, there's less and less of that, and so you have to like seek it out in different ways. Like, put yourself. I don't let people just take my back. I'm not just gonna let someone just choke me. And try like, oh, I learned a lot from getting choked. No, that's not how you learn. You learn from like, oh, this guy has a really good single leg X. I'm gonna keep trying. I'm not gonna put myself there, but I may not like try. I'm not gonna avoid his single leg X because I know it's good. Right. I'm gonna like if he puts me there, it's like, okay, this is where I can learn to defend his single leg X, see what he does. That's the learning process. So you guys really don't have to worry about that as much, because unfortunately, like you're all gonna get wrecked by everyone. Like that's just how it is as you're coming through the ranks of jiu-jitsu. It's like there's a lot. Anytime you go to train, you should be getting beat up. There should be people there. If you're the one beating everyone up, maybe you're at the wrong gym. Maybe you need to find a better gym where other people can wreck you even more. But at black belt, you don't really have that privilege to just leave and go everywhere. I mean, you can do seminars, obviously, just a lot of the reason why I do it. It's nice to go and train with other people. But yeah, that's how I learned too. Anything else, guys?
I got a question.
Yeah.
I see you often start over here with your knees to your chest and then putting your hands like that.
Yeah.
When I do it, I get smashed, man. So maybe like it's embarrassing. So I know that you put your knees all the way like to your chest, but then I feel like as soon as they get a grip on my pants, boom, they toriando.
Yeah. So you saw how you put your hands there?
Yeah.
Like the reason I put my hands there is because I know they're gonna grab for my knees. So like, can you come here, please? Go on your back. So if we're here in jiu-jitsu, you're at a huge disadvantage because I get to move first. Like you said, if people just grab and just start throwing, like you're at a disadvantage because you're not going to have grips before I do, right? So it's bad for you to not have grips. But the only thing worse for you in this position is if you start just sitting up and trying to get grips, like start trying to sit up and try and get grips. This leaves you more open because from here I can get control even quicker and start to do something, right? So the reason I lay back like that is because here, I've limited their options of what they're going to grab. So like you said, they grab your knees. If you know they're going to grab your knees, the second I see someone reaching with this hand here, I know where that hand's going. It's going to my pants. So if they start going like this, I unhook my hand and I'm immediately ready to get the grip myself. So I'm eliminating the time they have as an advantage. And their advantage is that if they get a grip first. So when I go here, it's because now they only have two options. If you sit up, now they have 1,000 options, They can grab a sleeve, a pant, an ankle, my head. They can cartwheel. They can flying Kimura. They can underhook. They can dive to double under. They can just tack a foot lock. But if I sit back like that, they can reach to my pants, or they can reach to my butt and grab my pants. And if they grab under the butt, it's not as dangerous for me, I feel. So that's the reason I sit there, is because it limits the person's options. So if you're getting wrecked like this, there's a high chance that if you sit up, and when there's no grips, and just in this situation where there's no grips, there's a very high chance that you'll get wrecked if you just sit up too, if the guy knows what he's doing. The difference is like sometimes people don't know how to properly attack this position, and a lot of times people make the mistake. They just like okay, we're doing jiu-jitsu now, and let's go. And they like wade into their guard and give the other person grips, and they lose the advantage of being able to grip first. Like that's one of the biggest mistakes is you don't ever just want to be like, okay, let's see, I want these grips, and then you don't do anything. Like that's a huge advantage to be able to get grips first. If I can grip first, you're like the second I grip, if I start passing immediately, you're not gonna grip my sleeve. You're gonna have to start immediately pushing, right? The second you start pushing, I have the advantage. I have the tempo of the match. I can continue to fight hard, while you're pushing and defending and defending. So for me, when I'm going like this, I'm looking to see which hand you're going for. So now look, I have a grip at the same time that you have a grip. And then from here, even if you initiate a pass, I'm going to be defending it at the exact same time. Whereas if you get the grip first, and I don't do anything, that's your advantage. Now you can run with it. So that's why I did it. From a competitively, it's safer for me to be here. Because yes, this is fine too. You can play guard successfully here as well, right? But you kind of have to. You can't ever be in the middle ground. You have to either be here or you have to be all the way down. Because if you're just like this, the guy's just gonna run you down. Being up like